Ladies and gentlemen, such a nice Federal Bank. We are a very warm welcome to you all. In fact, it's outside. It's warmer than expected. This summer seems to be harsher than expected. So a very warm welcome to you all. And let me tell you, we are a little bit constrained about time because our Federal Bank former chairman, Sri Balagopal, who is the interviewer, and the interviewee, Mr. Faizal Kottikollon, who is the son of the soil. They both would like to leave by 6 o'clock. They are also hard pressed for time. So we need to continue this chat for the future of Kerala, regarding the future of Kerala, for about an hour or 60, 70 minutes, and we can have a few questions from the audience too. That's a format. I mean, 3, 4 questions, maybe 3 plus 1, 3 questions and one last question from the audience. They will be answering those questions. In the course of the chat, we can have different topics, how they became successful in their respective ventures. I know both these individuals are successful industrialists. They ventured in the manufacturing industry in the state, and they became extremely successful. So they are actually, they would be talking from their personal experience. They would not be preaching or pontificating. They would be talking from their personal experience. So I think it's an invaluable experience to listen to those who have seen it all and done it all, and then talking about it and then conceptualizing it. So let me now get straight into the program. Let me invite Sri Shaji KV, Vice President, Federal Bank in Calicut Zonal Office, onto the stage for his welcome address.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. See, I am very happy to be here to address this August gathering on behalf of Federal Bank. See, today's event is a fireside chat on the topic is here, the future of Kerala. The panelists are well known. Sri Balagopal C. He's a 1977 batch IAS officer, and he resigned at the 30s, and he's the former chairman of Federal Bank and a successful entrepreneur as well as a lover of arts, literature, and actively involved in social and cultural activities. The other panelist, it is an eminent person well known to you rather than me, Sri Faizal Kottikollon. He does not require any Faizal sir does not require any further introduction from my side because he is well known to you rather than me, because he is son of the soil. He is a well known and renowned NRI businessman and the founder and chairman of KEF Holdings, and his business activities spread not only in India, outside also. See, this event is the second of its kind. Federal Bank has been arranging this type of conversations with eminent personalities across Kerala. The first one we had at Ernakulam. This is the second, and the next one we are going to arrange in Kottayam, Trivandrum, and other major cities. And this event, Federal Bank is arranging in association with Malayala Manorama. Moderator of this event is Mr. Kishorji. He is the Chief Finance Editor of Malayala Manorama, and he is the moderator of this event. See, I am not trusting my speech. I am straight away coming to my assignment. With immense pressure and honor, I welcome Sri Balagopal to this event. With immense pleasure and privilege, I welcome Sri Faizal Kottikollon to this event. I welcome Sri Kishore, the moderator of this event, to the function. I welcome Sri Reji CV, Zonal Head, Federal Bank, Kottikollon Zone, to this event. See, our most valued and respected customers are here. Without customers, we are nowhere, sir. So I have great pleasure and privilege to welcome you to this event. Many distinguished invitees are here accepting our invitation. I welcome all these invitees to this event. I also welcome the staff, members of staff of Malayala Manorama, who is coordinating this event, to this event. I welcome my colleagues and all members of Federal Bank who have come here to attend this event. Once again, I welcome all who are gathered here to this event. If anyone is left, please excuse me. Once again, I invite and welcome everyone. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shaji, for that short and sweet welcome address. So now the huddle begins. The fireside chat begins. You know, it's called the fireside chat, but where is the fire? There's no fire here. We are sitting inside an air-conditioned hall. There is fire. There is fire still. Now it's a fireside chat in the sense that the fire is in their belly. You cannot see the fire. The fire is in the belly of Balasar too. If not a person with fire in his belly, who would resign from IAS and jump into the dark to set up a manufacturing industry in Kerala, something unheard of at that time. And he is probably the only person who did that and made it successful. If there is no fire in his belly, continues to rage in his belly, then how else did he achieve, become a high achiever, a son of the soil from Calicut? They had a foundry family business. Then he went to UAE, set up his own foundry, brought in technology from US, and now it's at the international level. I will come to that later. Now, so that's how this becomes a fireside chat, and this is a huddle. We are talking about. We are also concerned citizens talking about the future of Kerala. You know, we are a financial constraint is going on, a financial problem is going on, and how to solve this problem. These businessmen, these industrialists, not only businessmen, they are industrialists also. Means they set up industries and they ran those industries. And Faizal Kottikollon is from the second generation industrial family. And you know, these two people, they have done it all, and they'll be talking from their personal experience. Let me talk about Balasar. After setting up his Peninsular Polymer, that is Penpol. Peninsular Polymer, he took technology from Sri Chitra for manufacturing blood bags, and Peninsular Polymers came into existence. He started it in a small village called Kottikollon in Trivandrum. And later it became Penpol, and he brought in technology from Japan, and that was from the Termo Corporation, and it became Termo Penpol. And at a certain point of time, they were the biggest manufacturer of blood bags and allied equipments in this part of the world, and even now it continues to be one of the biggest manufacturers of blood bags and allied equipment. So he set up this industry in a small village, and it became hugely successful. And then later on, he sold it to the Japanese company itself. He created wealth, and now then he got into the distribution of wealth. You know, one of the problems that we face, that we Malayalis have in general, especially those within Kerala, is that we focus more into distribution of wealth rather than creation of wealth. We need to understand, we need to be aware in the first place that we need creation of wealth in the first place to distribute it later on. These two men have done exactly that. They created wealth in the first place, and now they are into philanthropic activities, social responsibility projects, and they are distributing a part of their wealth. So that's what that's a modern thing to do. And there, and in seminars you would be seeing many experts pontificating about these things, but they are just preaching. They haven't practiced it. They practiced it, and now whatever they are saying or by way of preaching, if it seems to you that they are talking about it, they are doing it out of their personal experience. So Bala sir got into these social responsibility activities, which are also in large numbers, and he became chairman of Federal Bank. Now he has become ex-chairman. And welcome to you, Bala sir. And he is the interviewer. He would be interviewing Faizal Kottikollon. I mean, a right person to interview him, because he went into industry, became successful, and Faizal also went into industry and became successful to the international level. And there is a lot more to talk about Faizal Kottikollon. I have been to his office in Dubai, which is at the Dubai International Financial Center. You know, that office is controlled by British law. And I interviewed him there. At that time, he was into setting up a manufacturing industry in India, the prefab industry. And he is a product of Manipal, an engineer from Manipal, an MBA graduate from Manipal. And then he went to US from Bradley University to his MS in industrial engineering. And then, of course, he belongs to the PK Steel family, business industrialist family. There, the family had a foundry in Farouk, another village, just like Puliyarakonam, another small village. And you know, Bala sir has written a book also about 50 industrial families which set up business in Kerala and became successful. Little known industries, that's why it's called below the radar. And one of the first industries that he mentions is, of course, PK Steel. Actually, it was PK Steel that was instrumental in making him write a book. When they had the idea from him, they invited him to visit their factories and told the story, and that was the beginning. Then he went to several other and many other industries, little known industries, manufacturing industries within the state, and wrote this book about it. So Faizal Kottikollon came to Gulf and set up a foundry, the family business. But that foundry became one of the largest in the world. He brought in technology from US, and it became one of the largest. Then the technology investment and technology came from Tyco International. So when it became hugely successful, the royal family in UAE, they came in and took partnership in that business. They took about 45% shares in that business, and later, that was in 2008, just before recession. You know, there was a recession in 2008, global recession. It started in the US and it came to Gulf also. Just before the recession, they invested, and by 2011, they decided to offload their shares. And Tyco International, which is a $20 billion conglomerate in the US, into the same industry of steel castings, and they bought 75% of the shares, which included royal family shares and also Faisal Kottikollon's shares. And then in 2012, they bought the rest of the shares also. That was about 25% of the total shares, $100 million. Faisal Kottikollon got about $400 million. According to the exchange rate, dollar exchange rate at that time, $400 million came to roughly about 1,500 crore. So suddenly, the boy, your son of the soil, who hails from a business family, CEO of a business family, went to Gulf and he made it good. And he suddenly 1,500 crore was sitting in the bank. So that is creation of wealth. That is what we all do. Malayalis also do in the Middle East. That's what Malayalis fail to do within the state, and that's what we want to discuss more on. Why we are doing it outside, creation of wealth Why can't we do it here? But at the same time, let me tell you, there is one more aspect which I would mention before concluding this. It's not without problems that they set up industries or businesses here. Balasar had so many labor problems in his industry that, but he was able to negotiate and settle those problems without stoppage of production. And Faisal Kottikollon set up a committee to study, to scout for locations to set up his prefab business. That committee did not choose Kerala. They chose another place, which is Krishnagiri in Tamil Nadu district, very close to Hosur in Karnataka. So that business was set up there. Why? The reasons. Let's hear it from the horse's mouth from Faisal, Mr. Faisal himself. Also, while he tried to, you know about the philanthropic activities, the Nadakau High School story about investing 15 crore to make a government girls' high school to international level, and of course, he also set up a very good specialist hospital in Calicut. And a few years back, when I was casually talking to the industry secretary, principal secretary of the state, he mentioned that he was going to Calicut to settle this issue. That somebody, a person called Faizal, I already knew him. Was setting up a hospital, specialty hospital. He's having so many local issues that the construction has stopped. It was stopped for several months, and after intervention, government was very supportive, departments were very supportive. Still, he had problems. So it is not without negatives. There are negatives. We have negatives. We need to confront these negatives head on. Then only we can move, we can progress. We can't just close our eyes and say everything is hunky dory, everything is positive here. So we can have all those things during the course of this discussion. And Bala sir, now the forum is open.
Thank you, Kishore. Good afternoon, friends. And for me, it is a source of great satisfaction that we are having this conversation with Faizal, a good friend, and whose family is very dear friends of mine. I have a lot of respect for his parents, for his brothers. In discussions on business, when we carry out such discussions in Cochin and in Trivandrum, I of late, after the last 5 to 10 years when I started coming to Calicut more often, I have made an observation which I don't think my friends in Cochin and the south of Cochin are very happy to hear. What I tell them is that every visit to Kottikollon, I am convinced that the center of gravity of business and entrepreneurship in Kerala is shifting towards Malabar. And that is clearly evidenced by the numbers and the data which is also coming up. And one remark I just want to make. So when I make such a statement that Malabar is going to be the center of gravity of business and industry and energy, entrepreneurial energy shifting towards Malabar. So some of my friends towards Cochin and South, they challenge me saying, what do you mean? So I tell them, it sounds better in Malayalam, but since I've been asked to speak in English, I'll tell you what I tell them. What I tell them is, see, in most of the rest of Kerala, if somebody works hard, runs a business and succeeds in that business and makes, say, 10 crores, then he suddenly becomes cautious after that. Now his sole focus is on how to preserve that 10 crores. And he will then have other, for individuals are supposed to have different levels of aspiration, Maslowian hierarchy of needs. So like that, some entrepreneurs, immediately what happens is you make a little bit of money, they lose their energy. And then, so I jokingly tell them, see, the problem with people like us, because I'm also from the south, is that once you make some money, then you are immediately thinking of becoming president of the local Ramarma club, the local Lotus club and all, and you spend a lot of efforts campaigning. You will spend a lot of your money wining and dining all the members of the club, all the voters, so that you can become a president of the club. And so See, something like Pranjiyathan, in the film, and sometimes they may even want to get a Padma Shri. But I said the difference between the entrepreneurs in the south and the entrepreneurs in Malabar is the entrepreneur in Malabar, after he or she makes 10 crores, they will then bet the 10 crores to make 100 crores. That kind of risk taking. See, one aspect of entrepreneurship which we forget is there is a risk reward relationship. There is a risk return relationship. If you don't take risk, which means if you put your money in the fixed deposit and just sit tight, then you know what to expect. Post tax, your return will be 1.5% or something. Whereas if you bet it, if you invest it, then take a risk, there are chances you lose your money, but there are very good chances that this 10 crores will become 100 crores. That energy is there in Malabar. That's what I sense. And I can think of no better example of that than Faizal Kottikollon and his family. So, my first question to Faizal is, he comes from a business family, you come from a business family. Very highly respected and admired business family in Malabar. What was it in you when anybody else would have been satisfied by being a member of the family and you would have got your role to run things because the family was expanding? What made you give up all that and take a highly risky route and go somewhere else and set up a venture there and decide to take a big chance with that future when you had a secure future here in Kerala?
Thank you Federal Bank, first of all, inviting me. Thank you, Kishore. And I accepted this because I heard that Bala is going to be in the fireside chat. So thank you, Bala, for being here. You talked about energy. I think Malabar people has got more energy, wanted to make 10 to 100. And I learned this from my father. He was a big risk taker, and worked very hard from the age of 17. And his story, I think most of the people in North Kerala knows that. So when we grow up in a family, of such a figure in front of you, you learn a lot in life. And one thing which I learned out of him was from where his energy is coming from. He was more energetic than a 20-year-old person. I think even now you see him, he's full of energy. So I was very curious, and we see him waking up very early and when we are growing up, so we had a bodybuilding coach for him, his coach, and all the kids has to go to him in the morning, correct? His name was Dasetan. So we all grew up in a very disciplined environment where every child in the house has to wake up at 5 o'clock. If he doesn't wake up, he will come and bang on the door and he'll stand there till you open the door. Till I got married, the same story. Correct? And interesting story is after marriage also, the next day after the honeymoon night, he is there waking up at the morning same time. Correct? So my wife was come from the other side. She was annoyed, saying, "What is this?" I said, "No, my dad is used to it. It's a habit." So I think that is where the energy come from. And I realized that if I have to be here and be part of this, I'm going to be in difficult situations. So might as well, you study hard and go and see the world. So my interest came in, and I'm sure we have a common friend called Tony Joseph. So Tony was my brother's classmate. He did his degree and went into engineering. So he went to Manipal first. So I requested Tony, you are a good person in the house. Dad loves you very much. You are the close friend of my father. So I'm also going to follow your footsteps. So somehow put some recommendation and allow me to go to Manipal. So that's why I ended up in Manipal. When you go in an atmosphere like Manipal where you see people from all over the world, your imagination changes. So for me, I learned a lot in that 4 years of stint during my engineering in Manipal. Interacted with so many people, so many nationalities. So my views opened up. I said, hey, world is so many opportunities. World is not small as a small town like Calicut. And I think that is where I decided to pursue my dreams. To be independent. And always, my inspiration has been my father. Even now, and I admire him for what he is doing, and how he balances family, society, everything. It's a strong balance. And I think, we are fortunate to be born in a family like that, and learn from the baby steps, and you evolve, correct? With education you evolve, and got me into various places, ended up in US, and the rest was history.
So can you, from there, for example, the family had a steel casting unit in Farouk, and it was getting established at that time. What made you take the decision to set up a unit like that in a highly competitive place where you would not have had all the, the command of resources in terms of influence, your family is known, the reputation of the family is all there. Whereas, what made you take that chance? What opportunity did you spot in UAE?
So, the history is very little different. So, my father was a trader, correct? So, then he set up the flour mill industry, and I think in late 70s, early 80s, yeah. And he went on to expand in the flour mill business.
Yeah. Your father, P.K. Ahmed.
Correct, P.K. Ahmed. So, there is a famous industry called Kottikollon Sai, Western India plywood. So, my elder brother was married to the granddaughter of Mr. Kottikollon, and he used to really look upon Mr. Kottikollon. So, that time there was a steel rolling mill called Janada Steel Mills in Kalai. And that was a troublesome unit, with Apukoti and a few friends started it. And they ended up in trouble because of unions and strikes, and that time labor was very, very difficult situations in Kerala. And it almost closed down. And Kottikollon had seen the potential, in a steel factory in Kerala. So he told my father, by the time he was relatively successful in flour mill business and trading, hey, why don't you go and buy that SIG factory? Father did not know anything about steel, or that's the risk taking you are talking about. And we were small at that time. My elder brother was studying, and he went and bought it. Correct? He went and bought it. He gave it to a general manager to run it. So that general manager said, "You should not get involved. That's a condition. Okay, I will run it and make it profitable." So he started losing a lot of money. That's the time my elder brother graduated and started managing. So when he went to the factory to manage, they said, no, I have an agreement with the dad, you family cannot be managing in the management role. Correct. So that is where, we understood the trouble of the agreement, what he made, and so it took a while for us to take him out. Very known person, the GM itself. So Moidu started to manage the rolling mill, again losing money, trouble. That's the time I came back from US, that is in 1992, and I told my dad, I worked in a metallurgy industry in US, correct? So I went into Janada Steel Mill, worked along with my brother, and we completely transformed the whole issues, bringing technology and being nice to the workers. So foundry is not started here. The foundry was initiated by me. I started the foundry in 1997, in UAE, correct? So because that was my background, my expertise in US at that time. And the rolling mill was relatively doing okay. So I set up the first furnace along with my brother for Nalalam, the PK's steel casting. So that was producing ingots for the rolling mill. So we went into the backward integration. Then the destiny was my wife started a business called Archie's Gallery. So since I've lived abroad quite a number of years, I said women should not sit at home, they should do something. And she became an entrepreneur. It's an all-woman store. We started in PK Complex. Very, very successful. I'm sure many of the people over here would have come to Archie's Gallery and literally settled down in Calicut. So I had the first child, and that's the time I went on a holiday to UAE, and my wife's brother had moved there, and I went to see him. And I saw some opportunity there. I saw it's a land of opportunities, and that time we were importing the steel scrap from US, for the furnace. So I was the person who imported the first ship into Mangalore, and the scrap was not available in Kerala. And we imported the ship, got the scrap. It was very costly, shipping it from US to Mangalore and transporting back to Calicut. It's a lot of effort and time. And I realized that there are scrap available in UAE in that holiday. Correct? So Prime Minister Nawaz Sharif had a steel plant called Alali Steel Plant. And see, I tell you something interesting about the goodwill, and being born to a good family, where you do ethical things. So I was sitting in my brother-in-law's sawmill, and I met a guy called Sugudan. He's a Malayali. So he asked me, "Everda?" I want to Kottikollon. Achane peranda. So then through him I met a scrap dealer, and I said, "Oh, but a scrap, how can a scrap in the desert?" Correct? So no, do you want to see it? So he took me to show this rolling mill and a scrapyard who was shredding cars in the desert and exporting to Pakistan. Correct? So when I asked him the rate, it was $163 a ton. I still remember. And what I was imported from US was $175 a ton. So I got excited. I called up my father, and my elder brother said, "Listen, I think I should stay back here. There's a $12 a ton difference, and it's a huge difference, $12 a ton at that time." And I convinced my father that it makes sense, business sense. But he was very upset because he said, no, I need you here, you're married, what irresponsible child you are, you're a 1-year-old kid. I said, no way, I see something, it's for the family as well as for me, and that is how I ended up staying here.
Now, your entrepreneurial, because we very quickly want to come from, to move from the entrepreneurial story, which is a remarkable story, to your subsequent actions which you took, which were also very interesting. After building your company in the UAE to world scale, you did something which was not too many business people from India will do. You sold that company. So could you tell us something about that move? Because that move, I think, is almost like a watershed in your business career in terms of it took you into a different orbit. So could you tell us something about that?
Both of you sold your stake in your respective companies.
See, one thing I learned when I was in US, the US is the largest economy in the world. People, for them, they are not really emotionally attached to businesses. If business makes sense, they continue in the business. If it doesn't make sense, they sell or wind up. Correct? So I got this from there. And today what I believe is, business is separate, family is separate. You should not try to mingle these two things. Business should be driven with the business fundamentals. Correct? That is, you need to make profits. And if you really want to make profits, you need to have deep knowledge. Otherwise, you're always competing with the rest. One of the formula I still followed in my career is, a good business should make a net margin of 20%, net profit. Today we talk about the jargons like EBITDA and all of those things, and I don't believe in that. You need to have, after paying all the expenses, banks, interest and repayment, you should make 20%. How do you make 20% ethically? That's a question. Correct? It's not easy. You need to have deep knowledge of the subject. Correct? So when I build a foundry, I said my foundry should be 10 years to be the best in the world. And I need to build technology which Germans should not have. Correct? And that's what I did. Step by step, I took 10 years. I was not in a hurry. My revenue in 2007, after I developed the vacuum technology, was $101.3 million. I still a number man, so I still number, even the digit I remember. $101.3 million, and I used to make a net margin of $25 to $26 million at that time. So the value comes when you're unique, when your margins are about 20% net margin, then the whole world wants to come and buy your business. Then it's you are in an advantage situation to ask what price you want. Correct? So that is where I said when people wrote about the factory is not about the technology I built or anything. How I was taking care of my employees. I invested that time $5 million, Indian rupees maybe 20-25 crores. Every day, every employee, 1,300 people in the factory, 45 minutes, they have to come to a community center to educate themselves. So we teach them how to be taking care of their health, how do you enhance your knowledge, how to have fun, because they all come from India without families. And that story came into the UAE newspapers because nobody does that. Correct? And I'm able to do that because I was making more than 20% of net margin. Correct? So I had the freedom to build a center like that. And that is where the fortune came in. When everybody wants to come and buy my company, I gave a crazy valuation. I said $400 million. Okay, at that time because my margin was 25 million. Normally industry multiple was 6 to 7 to 8 times. I didn't want to sell that because I was enjoying my journey in the company. Why should I sell it? Unless and until I get double the money. Correct? So that is where this deal happened.
No, he set up Faizal and Shabana Foundation in 2007, isn't it? In 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that Faizal and Shabana Community Center was also set up there. And as he mentioned, that Faizal and Shabana Community Center still exists there. Even after this, his company was sold to Tyco International, the US giant, they still run that community center with the same name, isn't it?
So we didn't put the name. So I don't believe in putting the names. I'm basically a quiet person. So we didn't put any name. It is called ETC Community Center. So my company, which bought by Tyco at $400 million, subsequently sold it to Pentair for $1 billion when I was the CEO. So I had 25% stakeholding at that time. So Pentair had 45 factories. And when you build anything unique, because my foundry, it never looked like a foundry. It was like a R&D facility. It was very clean, no pollutions. It was one of a kind in the world. And I take pride in that because I wanted to really outperform the Western people. Correct? So today, we always follow the West. And my question is, why are we following the West? Why can't they follow us? But you have to be better than them. Correct? Now, the new company, Pentair, renamed the center in our name because they saw a huge value in that particular industry they acquired from Tyco. So that is where 12, after 2 years of selling, the company was renamed as Faizal and Shabana Community Center. So I think that's an amazing feeling because when you don't expect any of these things suddenly come to you, it makes you realize that you have done something good to the society, something good to the people. So my father always taught me something. When you do good, good come to you. So I believe in that. And this is what I advocate in people. Don't follow what others are doing. You should have a focus, clear focus in what you wanted to do. And in the whole journey, 2 things important: knowledge, people. People who work for you, they are very important. If you get their buy-in and if their love, then the productivity just shoots up. Your efficiency goes high, you outperform the competition.
Yeah, tell us something about the people, where they are mostly Malayalis or Indians or people of all nationalities in the Gulf?
We had global people, I had people from all over the world, from US to Germany to Austria, Australia, Italy. Indians mostly were mostly from Tamil Nadu, Kerala. We had a lot of Pakistani, Bangladeshis, northern people. See, we as a policy of the organization, we don't differentiate people. I always say, I remember John Lennon's song, Imagine, there's no countries, no boundaries. The problem is, we are breaking up each other as human beings. We should not. We are all human beings irrespective of what religion, what caste, what countries. So I follow that principle, so I don't look at it nationalities at all. I look at the competence and take them in.
In your business journey, then after you sold this company, I'm not talking about a chronological sequence. After that, your interests expanded, your vision expanded. Of course, you had a lot of capital in the bank, and then you started KEF building products.
Yeah, Cafe Infra.
KEF Infra, where again you went into an extremely, what I would say, a pioneering and a path-breaking kind of venture, making prefabricated buildings. Could you tell us something about that venture?
So when we sold and we got this $353 million in the bank, half of that, my CFO was a Malayali, hardcore Malayali, Balagopal. You know, he said,
Balagopal's are hardcore people here.
No, Malayali. He said, sir, all the money should go to FD and SBT. You know, so the first tranche of the money came as a fixed deposit into State Bank of Travancore. I said, Bala, I am not really keen on money. You know, I like to create things. That's my passion. So you manage the money, and we were working very hard from 1995 till all these things happened. Till 2006, we never took one day holiday. I used to work 7 days a week, 365 days. Never took children for a holiday till 2006. And I said, I want to give back to my family. So I leased, that's the time Sahara, Subrata went into bankruptcy. All their planes were grounded. So I leased one of these planes, put it in Sharjah airport, and I said, I go around the world whenever I feel like. Correct. So we did that for 6 months. So I used to go travel with my pilots and stewards and all that. After 6 months, me and my wife Shabana looked at each other and said, have we really enjoyed this or are we happy? We both looked at it and said, no, we miss our workers, we miss that fire, and we miss that, the human connect was missing. Correct? And that's the time, I wrote this in Malayala Manorama. There was an interview from, journalist? Rajiv came to my house and I was narrating the story, and I said, I told Shaban, let's become philanthropists. Let us take all this learning and go to our home country and do something. Correct. And so we took up two important aspects of human life, education and healthcare. And that is where the Nadakawa school came in. So I wrote about how inequality is in our society and how we can bridge that through education. So these inequalities can be only bridged through education. We need to give equal education to every child in our country. So that Malayala Manorama journalist writing got me into Pradeep Kumar MLA. Correct? So I called up Tony and said, hey, do you know who this MLA is? He's in touch with me. He said, then I come. So me and Tony and Abdul Wahab, MP now, went to see Pradeep in the school. So that's the first time I ever saw a government school. And my heart broke when I saw that. Even in Kerala government school, how the food is cooked and all those things, leaking buildings, tin sheets. So Pradeep was expecting, maybe some computers, some money, and he said Infosys is given so many computers, ISRO is given binocular. So that's a kind of an expectations. So I had a bigger thinking, bigger vision. So I told Pradeep, I can't commit anything. Why don't you come to Dubai? He said, Dubai, so he said, no, party, I need permission and all that. So our current chief minister had visited my factory, luckily, in free zones. A lot of these people come to Dubai because my factory was well known among the ambassadors and consuls and all of them. So whoever comes there, they know where to take. So they used to bring all these people to the factory because Indians are very proud of what we have done in that part of the world. So, and that is how Pinarayi Vijayan came to the factory. So I said, you tell Pinarayi Vijayan it's me. I'm sure he will give you no problems to come to UAE. So Pradeep Kumar came to UAE in 2012. He didn't know why he's coming. So I arranged different school visits to him. American school, Delhi public school, Australian school, 5-day tour for Pradeep, only schools. So one of the things I requested Pradeep is where are meetings on the Vakarad because he is a popular leader. So 6th day we sat together. So I told him, Pradeep, what do you think? So he said, I don't understand, which direction he is going, So I said, why can't we build a school like that? Why can't a government school be like that? If you have commitment to me, I will have a commitment to you. Let's do this. I still remember the last day we agreed, we shook hands. I said, we will make this Nadakawa school something magical, where the world will remember ever. Correct? That is how that school project started. That school really was, for me, in my entire career, I have achieved so many things. That school is special. Correct? That changed the lives of millions of kids. That is how the thought came in. What is the success recipe of the school was how we did it in 90 days during the summer break. Everything was demolished and built it in 90 days. Correct? And we opened in May 29th when Abdullah was the education minister. It was a history. Correct? That inspired me to start the prefab business. I said, India needs not thousands. See, India has got 1.2 million government schools. How many? 1.2 million government schools. One worse than the other. One worse than the other. If we need to be a powerhouse in the world, we have a lot of work to do. Today, we are all in a high saying that we are going to be the third largest economy, but it's a lot of doing at the ground level. Because we have to be practical. Correct? And that inspired me. I went around the world to bring in technologies, to build schools in 30 days, 90 days, 120 days, build hospitals in 4 months to 1 year. And that is how the Maitra was conceived. I said, I want to show it to the world how a hospital can build out of the factory. Everything about the ground level in Maitra is from my factory, which lasts more than 100 years. You cannot drill a hole into Maitra's walls. It's a technology which I got from Finland. It's all pre-stressed concrete, fully automated by robotics. No air can go in and corrode the steel. It's 7 years now, Maitra. It's zero maintenance. I spend the least money for maintenance. So we need to build schools and hospitals for life. Not your life, for many lives.
Yeah, schools and hospitals are built with the prefab products from your own company, from your own facility in Krishnagiri. And the question is, why did you choose Tamil Nadu instead of Kerala for setting up this facility?
You want an honest answer?
Yeah, exactly.
No, my interest was to build in Cochin. Then Kinfra, we had applied for the land and all that. And that time Umechandi was the chief minister. He was very, very helpful, But see, I'm a high-speed person. I'm a very impulsive person, very emotional person, and I want to do something, I want to get it done fast. So I said, I waited for a year, so bureaucracy couldn't give me all the approval process. So I wrote I still remember I told them, if I don't get in this next month approval, I'm not going to continue here, I'm going to go. So I didn't get it. So then I scouted around India, I went to Gujarat, I went to various places. Finally ended up in Tamil Nadu, Krishnagiri. And everybody said, Jayalalitha will eat you a factory, be careful. At that time she was alive. And so I said, do it quietly, and if you do good, nobody will eat you. When you do and enhance everyone's life, nobody is going to go against you. So I never had any bad experience, and finally I still remember after I built the factory, she invited me and my wife to her office and honored both of us and said, gave 2 IAS officers, for standby. Any problem, these are the 2 people, correct? So I think I had an amazing experience, very industry friendly. So I think these are the reasons why I moved out, because it was taking more time. Nothing else.
And you got your approvals in time in Tamil Nadu?
Oh yeah, it's so fast. It was a cakewalk for me. It was so quick. Everything I did it in 9 months. I invested $80 million, close to 500 crores in 9 months. And I used to work there. So I used to spend 15 days at that time. NRIs could stay 15 days in India. So I used to live in the factory and build that factory. Because I'm very passionate in what I do. And I need to drive myself. It was one of a fascinating experience in Krishnagiri.
Yes,
since you mentioned Maitra Hospital, what was the opposite to it? The stoppage of construction work for several months.
We all know that Kerala has got their own good and bad, correct? So people were people are aware of things. So many of the hospitals, they don't really do justice to the society in terms of environment, correct? So they normally don't treat the water fully. They send the water to Kanoli Canal and all that. So people had bad experiences. So when they saw another person coming from Gulf and putting the hospital, their main concern was that, environmental pollution, what is the way you are going to treat the water, because many of the hospitals, even now, they don't have a full-fledged facility here, correct? So I took it on a positive note. So I went to the principal secretary and I said, listen, I'm not upset. There were strike and all those things. Lot of issues, almost a year we had to struggle. But I had 7 meetings in civil service with the government. And I used to call every resident association, bring my engineers, a lot of foreign engineers, explaining to them that nothing is going to go wrong for you people. It is going to benefit the society. But eventually it's sorted out. So it is the attitude. Now how you take things is important.
So I think the important thing here is, like a wise man said, there are many things you can change in the world, there are many things you cannot change in the world, and wisdom is knowing the difference. And concentrate on those things which you can change and don't waste your time beating your head on things which you cannot change. And that's what entrepreneurs do. And that's what the message, I think, for entrepreneurs here in Kerala and all of you who are doing business here in Kerala, I think have figured out how to do business in Kerala. Now my next question is, I spent 2 hours with Faizal before coming here. Like I think many things which he doesn't give you full idea of what he intends. I thought he was inviting me for lunch and just to chat about this conversation. But actually he wanted me to see what he was trying to do in Tula. And I think many of us seem to have, and I also had the impression that this is a high-end spa where people can come and lose some weight and pilichal, all this rejuvenation and all that. And what I discovered was something completely different. And I'm going to ask Faizal to explain. I think he will keep you here for the next few hours unless somebody cuts him short, because he's so passionate about what he's doing in Tula. But I will ask him to try to say in about 5 minutes, what is it that he's doing there, which is actually quite an extraordinary approach to health and wellness, backed by a lot of research. I met the research head, who's a scientist from Australia. And I met a couple of the other people who are technically highly qualified people from various different countries. And so the enormous amount of research output which has happened, documentation, publication, etc. He's preparing a very solid base for repackaging and presenting wellness using all the ancient Indian wisdom and the empirical knowledge of Ayurveda. So over to Faizal for this almost impossible task of trying to explain in 5 minutes what you're trying to do in Tula.
I'll try my best. So, Maitra Hospital was another big learning for me in modern science. I took charge 2 years ago, 3 years now. I took the majority of the company. My parents has 15%, now I have 85% of the business. And I realized that we are not curing diseases. All the hospitals, modern hospitals in the world, it's only a patchwork, a symptomatic approach. You have a diabetes, they'll get a metformin, you live with it, then you go into injections and you get other complications, they treat you till you die. And 2019, I'm a patient of thyroid patient. I'm a thyroid patient, hypothyroid. I've been 26 years, I'm a thyroid patient. I started with 25 mg thyroxine, ended up with 200 mg thyroxine, and more than that is with other complications started, my uric acid. And I look after myself well. I wake up at 5 and do 3 hours of yoga, tennis, and a very active person. So I said, hey my God, so many medication I'm taking it. And that is where I met Dr. P.K. Warrior of Kottikollon, in 2019. So that was an eye-opener for me. First time I visited Ayurveda hospital. And I started doing more research on Ayurveda. Then with the data coming from my hospital, I knew healthcare needed a change. For me, what I'm doing in Tula is complete transformation of healthcare. From illness to wellness. Hospital should be for acute care. All the lifestyle diseases, we can reverse it. Correct? But the way Ayurveda has been doing for 2,000-3,000 years is not possible for the current generations to accept it. So we need to change the way it delivered. So fortunately now I'm an inventor. I got the patent for the first Ayurveda bed, which is going to change the Ayurveda in the world. I can tell you that. Which is, you will be seen in Tula. We just got the patent now. It's a global patent. I said, what is Kerala's biggest strength? If you really look at it, we are knowledgeable people. Ayurveda has been here for thousands of years. But we have not yet tapped the potential. So Tula is all about integrated healthcare to reverse all the lifestyle diseases. Whether it's hypertension, whether it is diabetes, whether thyroid, or whether, any kinds of lifestyle diseases can be reversed completely, even at a later stage. I'm completely free of my thyroid, I'm completely free of my cervical myelopathy, I'm off medications, for some time now. It's all because of my research I've been doing since 2019. Then I thought, just for me is no good. How can I help the whole world, which is suffering, in large population is suffering with all these lifestyle diseases. And that is what we are going to showcase very soon. A lot of, as Bala has met my team, it's a global team. We are investing $100 million into Tula. For me, as I said, keeping the money in the bank doesn't make any sense. What you do with the money for the next generations gives me a lot of high energy. It gives me motivation to wake up in the morning and do something. Correct? And I think Tula is very special to me. It's a legacy project for me. And I thought, I'm so lucky that I started in Calicut because I grew up here. Correct? So it's a lot of deep emotions and connections and the knowledge from Kerala, Maitra, so all these things, I'm stitching together, for a solution to the humanity.
Is it doing well as a business venture too?
Pardon?
Tula, is it doing well as a business venture too?
Yeah, it's not yet started. I think the whole world will come to Calicut. I can tell you that. It already is there. Because there's nobody's solving problems. Nobody is curing diseases. This is the first of a kind in the world. A lot of people might not understand this. Sometimes think that I'm arrogant, saying that no one is doing this. It is not. Because West can't do it. Because the deep knowledge on Ayurveda and yoga is in India. I was a speaker in G20. Mansukh Mandavi as our health minister is a very close friend of mine now after he met me in G20. Correct? So now, if you see, Maitra has started to get a lot of Omani patients. For example, today I'm going back, we have a royal family from Oman come here. We also started an integrated health and wellness in Maitra now, which is again a small pilot project. It's starting to do very well. Because now it's not only Tula is for the super rich and rich people. I said that is not going to justice to the society. So started a second brand in Maitra, which you will have all people can go to the access to Maitra now in the coming months or even now today, to start reversing your diseases.
So actually, probably the last question which I want to ask Faizal before we can then throw it open for questions. This pilot, this R&D, this huge investment into research which you are doing and the work which is going on in Tula, you gave a glimpse of what is your vision. And for once these are all documented and you're almost getting there now, to go to the next stage. So you plan to roll it out at two levels. One is at the individual, consumer level, household level, where you said you can set up a wellness pod in homes. I leave that to you to explain that. And the other was for setting up such Tula wellness centers in hospitals. So a hospital can run its regular work, but it can have a Tula wellness center located to it, which can become a force multiplier for the hospital. Now, that's a very interesting vision. So it is. It means it is a way he is thinking. Faizal is thinking of scaling and to a very high level and very rapidly all this knowledge which is being accumulated. So, like he said, it is a very telling thing. This is not something which I think many people think is something intended for the super rich and those who can afford to pay some very, very high amounts of money. There will be that element also, but the knowledge is most of the research which is happening now is to package this knowledge in a way which it can work at individual home, individual family levels, as well as it can work at the institutional level in the hospitals. Could you tell us something very briefly about your dreams and your plans to scale up?
So what I'm planning, our passion is now, how do you create a healthy society? Because today we all wanted to make money, we are running a race. We are continue to run a race, and suddenly we collapse. One bad news will come with a test, and that's it. Okay? The life changes, and you will see it happening to so many people. Okay? Why? Because we don't look after ourselves. So I said, how do I create a Tula community using Tula tech? So we are developing a huge tech platform where now today you will get these Whoop watches and Apple watches where you can monitor your heart rate variability and your pulse and sleep and all that. But what do you do with that? Correct? So we are building a platform on top of all those things. Second, that is one. And also we are developing urban Tulas, small Tulas. Now for the hospitals we have a second brand which is yet to reveal. There will be a program soon to unveil this. It's a global initiative for hospitals. So I said people should start coming to the hospitals before even they get sick. And also to maintain your health. Disease prevention and wellness is what we have started in Maitra. We are going to communities to educate now. All over Calicut we would have started to educate people. How do you prevent diseases? If you have diseases, how do you reverse it on the lifestyle? So that is for the hospitals, correct? And for people who are affluent at home, we developed a patented Tula pods. You get, it's very difficult unless and until you see an image what is a Tula pod is going to be. Because as business owners, our priority should be our health, body, mind and spirit. Today, we all look at the spirit by going to mosque and temple and church and all. That is not spirit. You need to really calm yourself. You need to look after your meditation, your yoga. It's all part of it. We have a Vedanta Academy in Tula now. So Swami Parthasarathy, we've started collaborating him because today there's so much of information is coming into our phones. In every millisecond, we are bombarded with information, correct? But how do you use your intellect to really process this information? That's important. What do you want to see from this millisecond post you are getting? I've taken the decision in the last 1 year, I don't watch TV. It's not, I made my life so calm. I sleep well. Correct? Because you will only see negative stories. You will see what is happening in Gaza. Children are being killed, bombing everywhere. What is the use of, can you do something? Once in a while, of course, you have to know what is globally happening. And there are ways to do that. But gluing onto the TV and always listening and talking ill about others is only going to hurt you. Your internal cell is going to damage. Correct? So this is what we have wanted to change. So there will be hospitals with the disease prevention and wellnesses. Bala came in a good solution today. Hey, why don't you do it in residence communities? Correct? There we will have this new brand come in so that people can access in your apartments. So these are the things we are looking at it. We are looking at connecting people through Tula Tech, and I think this is a large project. As I said, it's a lot of money I'm putting in. I said, God has been too kind, and I'm very privileged, and I have to do this, and I wanted to do this. So.
Yeah, coming back to our core topic, that is the future of Kerala. Let me ask you. We are facing a certain grave issue here now that our youngsters are living in droves to foreign lands. It's not for education. They live with express intention of immigrating to another land. So they choose only those countries where immigration is possible, where immigration is allowed, like Australia, New Zealand, Canada. You went to US, of course. US is another country that welcomes immigrants. It's a country built by immigrants. You had your industrial engineering MS in Bradley University there, and you could have easily got a job in one of the multinational companies. And
Which I was.
Merrill Lynch. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And you could have got a green card. You could have been a regularized US citizen by now. But you didn't choose that. You came back and you worked in UAE. So what is your take on this? That youngsters are living in droves. Is it a good trend? Will it benefit Kerala ultimately? Or is what will happen to our culture and our language if youngsters leave the state in droves like this?
So my stint in US, close to 3.5 years, was one of the unhappy phase of my life. I never really enjoyed it. My friend Raghu is here. He's been living there for, I think, close to 30 years. We studied together. There's no soul in that place. Correct? And it's not that I'm praising my home state or home place. Kerala is unique. And I tell this to everyone. It's a place where you feel happy. Correct? But do we have enough opportunity for entrepreneurs? I think living abroad is a good thing. You learn a lot, you expose yourself. But if you can come back after you earn the knowledge and the wealth, which I have done now since 2012, I've been in India. Most of my businesses are in India. This is the future. And if people understand that with using intellect, people will come back. And I think it's a reverse drain is already happening. I see across, and this is an opportunity for Kerala. And I know Kerala is going through a lot of financial crisis and things like that. I think if everyone work together, government, public, private, and all put together, this is fixable, in my opinion. Because our the small state, there's so many opportunities are there, but you need realistic people in a room. Realistic people in a room who can express freely with data, not that with emotions. We can find solutions. So I think Kerala can be fixed, and I think it's a great state. We have so much of inflow. We are twice the GDP of Indians, other states in living standards. I think it's an incredible opportunity.
Yeah, that's a very different, different take on this. That he's saying that essentially what he's saying that all those youngsters who are trying to immigrate now, they will come back. Most of them will come back to realize and come back later. Even now, the statistics has been out that in the last 15 years, about 20% of the people who migrated to Canada from different nations went back to their countries. So they realize that this is not the right place for us, and they go back to their homeland.
Who Canadians?
In Canada, not Canadians, but those people who migrated to Canada from different parts of the world, including Indians. They left Canada and went back to their home countries. So
we can get some questions.
we have only 10 minutes more, so I think we can have a little bit of a Q&A session from the audience. Anyone can pose a question to either Bala sir or to you, Faizal Kottikollon.
Good evening.
My name is Vinesh. I'm the president of Calicut Chamber of Commerce. My question is to Faisal sir. Sir, you said about integrative medicine, that you are a preacher. I know very well that you are a preacher of integrative medicine. Are these modern medicine doctors welcoming this move? What is their response? Actually, when we speak about Ayurveda, the main, what the nephrologist concern is whether this Ayurveda has got medicine has got metals or not, whether it will harm kidney, something like that. So what is your
So I think that's what the research is very important, So I was showing to Mr. Bala. See, everything should be evidence-based. Today the problem is, the greed is coming into every industry. So we are developing the entire protocol of all our medication is our own medications. This metallic components was been a big question, and that's why they take this one or two incidents because people are not regulated in this industry. And they say, look at this. Patient has taken this, it's harmed the kidney, which is true. I'm not saying that it is not true. But now, this is where we said the government has to bring in these policies, and we need to really evaluate who are the right people allowed to produce these medicines. Ayurveda has been there, it's healed many diseases for many centuries. Correct? And modern science, you know very well, it is all related to money. And it's been there from the pharmaceutical industry from the west to east now. Correct? So integrated is, we need all kinds of specialities to come together. We need modern medical, it's very important to do investigations. Today genomics, and we can really test all our genes, we can predict whether we are going to get a cancer or a heart attack. All these are, the science is really advanced. Correct? But I'm talking about the lifestyle diseases, correct? That is where we see panchakarma and cleansing and all these things in Kerala has been there. It's basically to detoxify. Because the food, the environment, there's a thing called epigenetics. The environment changes our DNA. The pollutions and all this. That is why Kerala, today if you really look at it, we are far ahead of the curve. You look at Delhi and other cities, it's not livable now. Beijing, for example. Correct? So people are realizing all these things quickly because today information is on your fingertips. Correct? So to answer your question, US is after us to do the integrated healthcare. Now we had a big team of Cleveland Clinic came in last February, 10 days to study our model. Correct? And as I said very clearly, this is only India can export to the world. And this is a big opportunity in my opinion after Tula opens. The Ayurveda industry will change. And we'll be happy, and I wanted to give this knowledge to the industry.
Next question, please.
Faizal, once when you came to see me, you mentioned that always as a business person or as an entrepreneur, you should think what Calicut can give to the world. And that is how Tula came and Maitra. What is next in line you are having in mind?
I'm March 12th, I'm Shashti Purti, 60. So, I think Tula is a very large movement which I wanted to create. If you really look at it, the integrated health, we started in Calicut, it's Calicut to the world, and to expand this as a healthy community, and across Kerala, it's a 10 to 20 years of job, and this is not going to restrict to only to India. We are starting now in Oman, a lot of invitation. So this will be a global brand, and to really build a global brand, it takes decades. Brand building is not easy. So I think this could be my last business. I don't think I have any. See, all the businesses, I didn't do it for making money. It all evolved for a purpose. And as I said, if the purpose is good, people love it, money comes automatically. And that's been my life story. It's very difficult for people to really understand that, And that's why I tell the story. When you do good, good come to you. Correct? But without the knowledge, it won't. Without hard work, it won't. You need to wake up in the morning and do something with a focus. So I think Tula is going to, and Maitra, these two integrated health, I think could be my last project.
It's for your children to take it to the next level, isn't it?
None of my children, we said we should not be in the family business if they want to be. So they all are independent. My two daughters, they've gone into urban wellness in Dubai. It's become the best center now. Last year it's voted, Sophia and Sarah, it's called POS Wellness. Sun started converting old cars to fully electric. It's called peak petrol to electric. It's doing well. So all my children, that's what I learned from my father. They learn from me, and their children will learn from them. And we always created a open family environment. So I encourage my children to be open, correct? Open to all societies, all religions, and how do you do good to yourself and good to the people, correct? So you need to do good to yourself first, make yourself happy to make others happy. And so I think if they wanted to be in the family business, most welcome, but I don't think so.
You want to ask a question?
Yeah. I'm Dr. Reena Avilkumar. I'm an environment management consultant.
What are you?
I'm an environment management
Environment
consultant.
management.
Yeah. So the thing is, I came to understand that you in 2 years or so you will complete the project Tula. So
The Tula is opening end of this year.
end of this year, yeah. So we are all 50s like you. We are just behind you. So in 2 years time we will also get some diseases like hypertension, cholesterol, this, that, like that. So I will say, then our friends or family will ask, okay, are you going for allopathy, Ayurveda or Unani or Homeo? They will come, will say, no, it's Tula.
Thank you. Good to hear
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you.
One last question, please.
When is Manchester Peace coming in Budapest for newspaper?
I don't know who say that. See, I think many sports clubs, they all need to recoup. Correct. I think Ayurveda is becoming very popular in the West. So many Chelsea, and I have connected with all these sports teams in UK. I think many celebrities are going to come to Calicut, to Tula, to Maitra, and all this in the coming years. And I think this is an opportunity for the entire society. So I'm pretty excited, and waiting for that whole project to finish here. I think we all can work together, and I'm sure we can really propel Calicut easily, because the highway, which I'm in front of the highway and I see it's happening, it's going to change the opportunity for Malabar. So you can reach from Cochin Airport to Calicut in less than 2 hours. And I drove a few times. It's only 164 kilometers from airport to Tula, and probably another 20-25 kilometers. So it's 2 hours maximum. So it opens up various markets. Cochin has got majority of the connectivity coming in. And I think it's going to be a really interesting time, in the coming decade. Provided, I think, Chamber is here and Roshan is here, Thai. I think it's time to really encourage the youngsters.
One thing I think which we shouldn't this program do is that Faizal is the chairman of the UAE India Business Council, which is a very important and powerful and impactful body of linking business between. So could you just tell us something, because you were mentioning some astonishing numbers which they have committed to invest in India.
Correct. So last year, both the ambassadors, UAE ambassador and Indian ambassador, approached me to saying that UAE has committed $75 billion to Prime Minister Modi to invest in India. Because now our trade between both the countries have reached $100 billion roughly. And I think they want to really enhance the trade between India. And I think strategically now UAE is becoming more closer for many reasons, because it's also a big market. So I never taken up any outside position other than chairman of my company. So they forced me this responsibility, I accepted it. What we're doing now is we are setting up a Bharat Mart in Jebel Ali. So just announced when Prime Minister was there last week. It's a $250 million facility by Dubai Ports. It's going to be ready in next 24 months. The idea is to get in all the small and medium scale industries to Dubai, facilitate them. So DP World will do end-to-end financing, logistics, everything. Also you'll get warehouse, showrooms, everything, to give opportunity for Indian small and medium scale industries to access to the African markets. Correct? Because Dubai is a hub. Correct? So now I have a big team working with me. I have 19 members, Mubadala, Tata, Reliance, Adani, then we have a lot of large corporations of UAE. And I'm the first chairman, and we have vice chairman is a UAE. The first time ever it happened that Indian is a chairman and vice chairman is a UAE. Correct. So that shows the equation is changing, and they have accepted that. So, but I need to be a little careful not to upset my vice chairman. So to make sure that we maintain a good relationship. So my team will be contacting chamber with time. So we are looking at the team is going to Trivandrum. We're talking to the secretary of Kerala state government. We are talking to various state governments to see each state what is their USP, what is their potential. How we can bring small and medium scale industries to this Balagopal. That's one project. Multiple projects are in pipeline, because the $75 billion is committed till 2030. Correct? It's a lot of money. And UAE, as you all know, that they have huge reserves now, and now it's up to us, how do we work with them? Because at the end of the day, they also look at safe investments, so it's interesting, so I'm working on that.
Yeah.
I am Radhakrishnan. Advocate Pettathuri Radhakrishnan, Senior Advocate of Calicut. I have a question to you. Is Indian law help you for a business better than foreign laws, especially Gulf?
See, it's definitely UAE laws were much simpler, no complications, because Indian laws are built by British. Right? Unfortunately, it's all those times and it's not changed much. I think we have this, that's why with the legacy issues, and I think government is evolving. Definitely, it was much easier for anyone to do business in UAE. I admire the country, I admire the leadership, and I think our country leaders can learn a lot. And I think with this UAE-India relationship becoming stronger, I'm sure it will improve here too. So with time, we can see a lot of improvements happening, digitization happening, and all that. So India is a slow process. We can't expect a magical change like other countries. See, as long your mentality changes and acceptance start to come in and patience you build in, you can do business here.
Yeah, now let's move on to the conclusion. I see, the people in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s sitting here, and no age is too late for starting out a business. Now, my question to the last, for conclusion, a message from Mr. Faizal Kottikollon, we are requesting. What is your message to those people who, suppose they got inspired by your talk, that they want to start a business? What is your message to them?
My message is never give up and try to build energy. Energy comes from one source, which is sun. So wake up in the morning and do something in the sun, and cleanse yourself, because we are cluttered with too much of information, thoughts. We need to declutter it every day. That's what I do. Normally, all the meditations and yoga practices, and you walk in the sun, it declutters your brain. So your brain is the most important thing in the gut. There's a syndrome called brain-gut analysis. And also food. Everything is digested in the food. The signals goes from the brain. So this brain-gut analysis, as we maintain, and I think that is a practice which you need to develop every day. And that's a discipline we talk about. That's what I give all my credit to my father, who really had the patience to wake us up every day morning without getting, impatient. And I do the same thing with my children. All of them wake up early and do something. And I think they are reaping the benefit of that. So I think this is what we can teach the children. And I think we need to let them prosper with their own interest in life, not to really push what you think you wanted to see. And you should let them do what they wanted to do. We say Rumi, a famous poet, they come through you. You don't own them. We can't own our children.
Yeah, I think we have overshot by just 5 minutes only, and it was time well spent. It was worthwhile listening to both titans of industry in Kerala. And let me now invite Mr. A. Harikrishnan, Vice President of Central Bank, for word of thanks.
Good evening, dear friends. Before starting the formal vote of thanks session, I would like to thank Bala sir for the encouraging good words and the very relevant observation he made about the entrepreneurial community of Calicut. On behalf of Calicut people, I would like to thank him for that statement. Thank you, sir. And secondly, I can't resist telling that because the concluding message given by Faizal sir, it's really touched me, and I'm sure that it really was a eye-opener for all of us. Thanks for that, sir. And
Huddle, the Huddle series. So we have some more programs coming at Kottikollon and Trivandrum. I'm sure that by the end of this entire series, this episode that we had today, this will be a very memorable episode. So, and one more thing, the dialogue shared between Bala sir and Faizal sir, actually, what to say, words will not be enough, informative, insightful, or what should I say? That because I can only say that it reaffirmed the message that the future of Kerala is bright. So let me come to my duty. Formally, I would like to thank Bala sir for spending his valuable time with us today and being a reason for this program. Thank you, sir. Faizal sir, thank you very much for the insights, practical insights you shared with us. Wonderfully moderated by our dear Kishore sir. Thank you, sir. And next, as Shadi sir told in his welcome message, we are nothing when we keep apart our clients. Mostly all of the valuable clients, I would say that a cross-section of the Calicut entrepreneurs are here today. So thanks to all dear customers and clients to find some time to come here and be a part of this program. This program is we are doing it in association with Malayala Manorama. Malayala Manorama staff members are also here. Our Federal Bank staff members are also here. So, and more importantly, we have our Zonal Head Register, Shaji sir, and also Anand, who came all the way from Chennai to attend this program, and other executives, other senior managers, branch heads who are several here. Thanks on behalf of the Huddle program. Thank you all.